Education in the digital age, new literacies and technology in the classroom. In 2016, we live in a digital world, using the digital technologies that surround us on a daily basis. We can have phone calls over the internet, read up-to-date news online, and do our Christmas shopping without leaving the house. The digital age in the dictionary is defined as a time period started in the 1970s with an introduction of personal computer and subsequent technology introduced, providing the ability to transfer information freely and quickly. Lancashire and Noble explained that since the Industrial Revolution, many changes have been made to how we understand and interpret the world. Nowadays, we use literacy in everyday social activities such as texting or emailing a friend, updating our Facebook status, or even listening to music. The digital age has pushed out the use of books, pens and paper as conventional tools for learning and changed how we now understand literacy. It has also been studied and identified as new literacy. Hall and Rousseau explained that previously literacy was something associated with books and writing and perceived as a set of skills which were taught in school. It has also been recognised as a social practice, something that people do in everyday life in their homes, at school and at work. For example, in one of my school placements, I have noticed in classroom there are computers and the teacher often uses large TV to connect through the internet to start off lessons. Children are also encouraged to use new literacies in their home life when they are asked to complete homework. My daughter's school, for example, uploads homework sheets to their school website where we have to find the information for what needs completing. She also has an account for My Maths, which is an online teaching and homework subscription. Even though technology is used in classrooms, it is not necessarily teaching children about digital literacies, or as Vaughan states, the distribution of different forms of pedagogic discourse and their ways of categorising and providing for different learners work in structuring learner identity is not being achieved, as the only thing which is changing is the tools used to teach children old tricks. New literacies can bring with it a set of problems itself. The exposure of these new literacies as a way of understanding literacy could be considered to be challenging for children who are not exposed to these outside of school. Lancashire and Noble explained that learners who do not have out-of-school access to new literacies may escape this kind of confusion or frustration, but at the expense of not encountering forms of practice that are becoming increasingly prevalent in everyday life. For example, referring back to My Maths, there are children who may not have internet access at home, thus creating a barrier to their learning as they are unable to do homework set. Lancashire and Noble state how schools try to get to grips in changing the world of literacy and technology, but they often simply end up reproducing familiar, conventional literacies through their uses of new technology. Zammit completed a study and explained, unfortunately, many students from low SES backgrounds become disillusioned with learning because the messages reinforce disengaging ones. Cress explains that with an increased use of ICT as part of our everyday lives, that we need to be multiliterate in order to participate fully in society has become a necessity. So we need to teach future generations how technology works instead of using them to replace pen and paper. I have noticed how society is still teaching children in a behaviourist manner, a learning theory which Starkey claims is commonly associated with direct instruction, where teachers tell students the truth and students learn this knowledge without critiquing it, then demonstrate what they have learned in an assessment task such as tests or exams. This approach to teaching children about technology should not be taken. However, as Zammit argues, it is not an easy task for educators to adapt and change pedagogy in classrooms of low socio-economic backgrounds due to students rejecting approaches that emphasise intellectual quality in favour of repetitive, non-challenging and educationally debilitating work. The constructivist learning theory is explored by Starkey, and this is what digital literacy is trying to encourage. This is the belief that people generate knowledge and meaning from an interaction between their experiences and ideas. Vaughan claims that the pedagogic discourse is a discourse of a classroom interaction, marking the social relationship between teachers and learners in constructing ideas. In simpler terms, learning in the classroom is explored between teachers and students as opposed to delivering factual information. Instead of teaching through technology, we should be exploring its possibilities in our lives.
Thank you for listening. created using Powtoon.